Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. Today we're going to do a light swap. We've got this light, which is an older light and not so bright, and I use this for live streams when I'm sitting in front of the computer. Okay, and this provides enough light to do that. The light that was there is this light up here. And this light is much brighter, and so this will solve a problem that we have when we're doing Ask Dave videos where there's just not enough light on the front. Now this light runs on 12 volts, so I can either plug an adapter in there, but I think I'd rather use the solar. So we'll bring this cable over here like this. And then we're going to have to make an extension cord. And what this video about is how to make the extension cord. We're going to put some Anderson Powerpole connectors on it. And I've got some 12 volt line that I picked up at Dayton. That's not so heavy. It doesn't need to be heavy. It's only carrying a few amps. So what I'm going to do is first of all figure out about how much I need, and then add a few extra, and we're going to plug it into the solar. Now the solar is right here. The batteries for the solar are underneath here and in this box. And then I run a line over here to this battery box down here. This is the local battery, so that there's very little voltage attenuation coming to the main solar panel right here, where this isn't a solar panel, it's a solar series of sockets. And we're going to put it into one of these. So we need an extension cord that'll go from here all the way around over to there. Now this room is 12 feet on a side, and we've got about a 6-foot vertical and about a 3-foot vertical here, so that'd be 12 plus 3 plus 6 is another 10, 9, 10, so about 30 feet. But let's just measure this out so that we see that in fact we're doing enough. I'll use my handy spindle here so that I can roll this out. This cable is readily available from DX Engineering or HRO, or let's see, you could get it from someplace like the Wireman. I think Arnell has it. And we're just going to keep taking this over here. I want it to not be terribly visible. So I'm going to guess right there. Now that's too long, but it'll do. I want it too long. Okay, so we're going to cut this wire. And now we're going to put power pole connectors on both ends. Okay. Now I've got power pole connectors here, and I've got the crimp tool that I need for them right here. We used the drill a little bit ago because those two lights have different mounting holes. Got too many boxes. Now this is a simple crimper tool that you can get for cheap. The problem is, if you look at the width right there, it only squashes about half the connector and not the whole thing. So we're going to use a different crimping tool. and that's this one. Now this is a coax crimp set, and there are different jaws for different purposes. This one right here will do like RG8X. This one will do the RG213, and this is set up for the power poles, and it gives you a little number. So that's the 45, the 75, the 30. We're going to do 30 amperes. Okay, and you can see that that'll crimp right down on it. So the first thing we need to do on both ends of this, we need to separate these a little bit. Okay, and I think this is 16 gauge wire, so we'll try the 16 gauge hole. By the way, this blue mat on the workbench is an anti-static mat for when you're doing work on projects and so on. It's a conductive mat, and we only want about, not even that much right there. This tool is available if you go to dcasler.com/Amazon. You can scroll down and find this tool. It's a wire stripper, not terribly expensive. There's a link there where you can get it on Amazon. Okay, so we're gonna put that up here. You get okay. Now we're gonna look. Yeah, we're gonna do this other one too. Now what you don't want to do is break the wire. I will grant you this is not for a very exotic purpose, but we'll see what we can do with it. This little device is just a clamp that'll hold things in the air. So what we're going to do first with this end is we're going to put on the connectors. Now I think I'm going to solder these in addition to crimping. So let me go get the solder. I have a soldering station over here, and turn that on to soldering. That's the temperature it will go up to in centigrade. So it's working its way up. I might point out that that is the temperature of the sensor, not necessarily the temperature of the point. In the meantime, we'll get our connector out. Now, these are from PowerWorks. Okay, 30 amp unassembled, red black Anderson Powerpole connectors, a set of 50. Now you may say, why should I pay so much money for these? Well, if you buy them in bulk, they're cheaper. And we're going to go color to color on this. And then way down here at the bottom are the actual, well, I would rather have this in a open top box. Okay, one more. And now, do they have the little black thingies? They do. These are the hardest to get out. Okay. This is a lot easier to deal with this way. We want 1, 2 of these tiny little things. And we'll put this somewhere where we are very sure it will not be dumped on the floor. None of this hanging over where I can bump it. Okay, now, the way these things are put together, you see this over here for this radio. We've got the red with the low terminal on the left and the black with the terminal down here. So we're going to put on the red terminal. Okay. Now, one way to do this is to put this in the way you want it in the hole for 30, and it'll hold it there. Okay, and then we insert the wire from this side into the thing. Hard to get out of there. Okay. Now we're going to solder a little bit on this. We don't want to solder too much or it won't go into the plug. Okay. Yeah, let's put the black one on using the same process. The 30 amp. Now we really would like it. Now the way this is constructed, there's a seam right there. That is the seam that we want to squash against. Okay, so we're going to put this in the 30 till it holds it. Okay, and then we're going to put this in here, in there, and squash the living daylights out of it. Okay, and now that we've done that, I'm just going to kind of put solder in there. Okay, now we're going to plug these color to color. So this is red, and we want this. You can see that there is, this is the end of the terminal. Here you see the little chromish thing down there. It's aluminum. Okay, and we're going to put this in such a way with this tip tilted so that it will come over that tip. Now for wire like this, we may have to use a small prod to get the thing to go in, because it's not going to go in by itself. So let's go in the other room again and get a prod. So we're going to put this in the correct direction, which is this way. Okay, now we're going to use this, which is a very small star wrench. Till we get that in and it comes over the top. So that's installed. Now we need the black one. We're going to have to do the same thing. There I did. Okay, there they go. Now we're going to put the red on the right, black on, the red on the left, the black on the white. There's a little notch in here and a little protuberance there. Okay, now they're right next to each other. A lot of people would consider this complete at this stage, but they provide these little doohickeys for a reason. I thought I brought in here for needing all parts. This thing is a stinker to put in, but if you put it in, it goes right in here where this hole is, right there. Some people put little tiny tie wraps through there. It's something to keep these things from slipping apart. And this is hard. These are designed to be deliberately too big. I don't know if you could see it carefully there, but it's actually a little curl of metal. There's a space in between. And these things act as springs. Okay, thank you. So we're going to take this and we're going to try to hold it in place. It usually takes a whole bunch, it takes me a whole bunch of tries to do this. I'm using a piece of packing tape to hold that thing down. This is the hardest part. Like I said, a lot of people skip this part, but I prefer to have these in there. It keeps the two halves from disengaging. There. Okay, this one is finished. Everything looks good, color to color. Okay, let's find that other end. Okay, just so you can see it again here. Here's our little, you can buy these easily on Amazon. They're not my favorite, but they work. And they're the only ones I have. So we're going to hold that there and tighten that. We're going to take the squeezer thingy. By the way, if you get stuck halfway through and you can't get it to go any further, this little lever right here, you're going to have to get a screwdriver or something to pull it down. But if you pull that down, the thing will release. Okay, now we're going to put this in the the 30 amp hole with the okay, so it's held in place. Not the camera that's jerking around, it's my hand. Okay, it's soldered. Okay, now we put on these things. This goes down, so it goes in this direction. There, my right click. Yep. Okay, do the same thing with this one. Alright. Now we want the red on the left. Looking at them end on. There we go. Now the fun part. I'm going to pick up this little thingy, hold right there. Very good. You can let go. Yep. Youth and skill triumph over old age and treachery. Okay, this is done. So let's hook it up and see what we get out of this light. The thing about these connectors that's cool is that they're genderless. You can just attach them like that. You don't need to worry about a male and a female. Okay, I'm going to go back over here to where my solar 12-volt distribution panel is. Now, I don't know if that fuse is good or not. We'll see. There we go. And that can get very bright, as you can see there. Okay. So we've got a light set up now for our SD videos, and there's lots to do. So in summary, what we did was we made an extension cord for something that required an Anderson Powerpole connector by simply taking a length of cord, making sure it was at least long enough so we didn't have to do it twice, and then put the Anderson Powerpole connectors. They take a little finesse, not a huge amount, but it sure does not help to have wiggly hands like I have. So please check out dcasler.com/support for ways you can help support this channel. Patreon is one of the choices. And until we next meet, 73.